Bohemia Interactive has released another update for Arma 3, but after a 3-hour download you open up your game and you're probably left wondering what the fuck you just downloaded. That's fine, because I had no idea and had to look it up too. Let me assure you that there are heaps of new exciting features in Arma to make you excited about playing the game again. First up, you'll be definitely excited to know that they changed the helicopter splash effect when it crashes into the water. Just kidding, it actually sounds like this. Pretty good. Now in another drastic leap of innovation, they also did the same thing for cars. Hey, can I borrow this car? I didn't even edit that in, that's actually the sound. Also, it sounds different when you're inside your car and it's raining. Yeah, that's worth it. And finally, they also made buildings 25% easier to explode. Yeah, it's about 25% easier. Oh, and they also changed the game to 64-bit. Personally, I really approve of Bohemia Interactive's decision to invest more time into strengthening Arma 3's foundation, because this will lead to support for more exciting mods in the future. Shut the fuck up. Yo guys, can I hop in? Alright. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what I think, so I'm gonna ask this nice police officer here what he thinks.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm part of the Citizens Council. We're talking about a new update for Arma, and we're gauging public opinion on whether it's worth for people to download 9 gigabytes of it. Do you reckon it's worth it?
To buy what?
To download 9 gigabytes of an update.
Oh no, I wouldn't order on that.
You don't like it?
A lot of unnecessary, Nah.
Yeah.
A lot of unnecessary stuff. But I gotta go to a bank, but thank you for letting me.
He liked it. Bohemia Interactive has really been getting excited about the new ambient inclusion, but if you're like me and have a shitty graphics card anyway, you're probably still playing on low settings. Here's what it looks like regardless. The new settings are made to take most effect near buildings. So let's head up there. Inglorious 5 FPS. Oh. On the floor, you're dead. So the ambient occlusion is the way that light interacts with objects. And since buildings were a separate object to the landscape, they're often neglected with the effect of ambient occlusion. I'm going to take a quick walk around the building just so you can see just the way the light interacts with corners. It was always a bit like this, but now it's just a bit more defined. It's also a bit brighter towards the center and definitely more focused on detail, like the light changes between these two rail type things. It's worth also mentioning that ambient occlusion really does make a difference to what you feel when you look at objects in the game. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to put everything on low and then have ambient occlusion on max. It's one of the features in the game that really make things feel much more realistic. I might keep shadows on just because they are pretty important. Shadows don't take up too much processing power, so you shouldn't have a problem even if you do play on low normally. So this is the game with ambient occlusion and everything on low. It feels a bit more, there's a bit more depth to everything. Just have a look around. The shadows are on ultra, but no anti-aliasing and nothing like that. Even the buildings and the vehicle up close, it just feels more real. We're gonna go ahead and turn off ambient occlusion. And it just feels cartoony. Everything's really bright. The trees don't cast any sort of internal shadow on the leaves inside of it. The buildings are much brighter. The wall doesn't cast any sort of shadowing or shadowing on the floor. It's just generally a bit worse all around, which really does make a difference. So props to Bohemia to actually make a difference to ambient occlusion. I'm gonna go ahead and turn everything on ultra like I promised. No point in increasing sampling. It's a lot of power for very little gain, unless you're playing on like 4K or something. But let's be honest. Who the fuck has an actual 4K monitor? Alright, so let's head off. See what kind of FPS we get. Right now on about 3000 render distance, which is definitely what's going to affect. Oh, 6000. Right, let's turn it down a bit, just for a realistic frame gauge. We're playing on King of the Hill right now, which is a very intensive multiplayer server. Lots of objects exploding.
Fuck.
Lots of kids swearing. It's definitely one of the more FPS killing game modes in multiplayer. Currently I'm hitting about 29-30 FPS. This is this is actually what I would get playing on low, but I'm playing on ultra. Bear in mind when you're flying, you're going to be rendering a lot of new objects, and that's going to kill your FPS. So we're going to land in the AO and just see what kind of FPS we get after about 30 seconds. Or we're going to crash. Either way, the test does go on because the camera is fixed above the AO. We are rendering most things in, and I can tell you already that I'm getting about 40 FPS, which is very decent. Very decent. That could be the 64-bit architecture of the game, but it's probably me just realizing that I can actually run this game on things higher than low. And that's about it for the update. It actually isn't half bad after all, but I still have yet to see any serious big change to Arma 3. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the download. Peace!